let's look at this. Ooh, a spotlight going on. Is that changing? It's kind of cool. Actually, that's distracting. Society says. Okay, I'm just going to put today's lesson template down. Society says people. What is the title of today's live stream? I haven't wrote it down yet. Okay, I'm just getting the lesson plan just kind of finalized and putting it as in the chat so you can see what we're talking about today and the structure of today. Which is here. I'll be pinning it as the top comment. So it's just so you know what I'm talking about and what the structure of today's live stream will be, which if you've been here before, you'll know what the structure is. Today's topic. And if you have any questions before I start getting into the lesson, today it is why kindness is the ultimate Stoic power. If you have any questions for that, just ask them and I'll answer them. Okay. Q&A. Okay, so today I'm talking about this topic that I've been talking about it a lot on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, about society thinks that kind people are weak and naive, but actually the Stoics believe that kind people are the strongest. And I know this is like something that was personal to me, is that for like so long I felt like being a good person was a weakness, and everyone's always telling you know you need to stop being so nice, you need to stop being like this, you need to get realistic, you need to stop dreaming and having your head in the clouds. So I made a video about this actually. There's a quote: "The healer has the bloodiest hands," and that's the thing I think about kind people is like everyone goes through pain in life, everyone goes through difficulties. The Buddhists knew this, the Stoics understood this, that suffering is just a fact of life. But weak people that society kind of rewards, you know, people, even these people get admired. You see them on social media. A lot of famous people are like this. Is they just take this pain and they just spread it out there. They insult others. They do rubbish things. Whereas like the good people in society, they take their own pain and they decide, I'm going to do something good with this. I'm going to help others. So that's the topic. That's the general topic today. And how the structure of the live stream will be is I will just be talking for a while whilst people are coming in. If people are turning up today, it's the same time as last week. And I'll just talk for a while, then I'll do the lesson. And then once the lesson's over, we'll do a Q&A on the topic. So like if any questions come up throughout the live stream, I will try answer them during the topic, during the lesson, but I try and stay to a lesson plan. And the lesson plan, unfortunately, was I finished work 2 hours ago. So I've had 2 hours to plan this, and I've been less than 2 hours actually, because I got home like an hour ago. So I had about an hour to plan this, and I couldn't think of anything. My mind was blank. I lost all my creative juices. So I just thought, I sat there and thought, what topic's been on my mind a lot recently? And it is the topic of society thinks good people are weak and naive. Society thinks if you're kind, if you're good, if you're kind-hearted, a lot of people, the majority of society, think that's a weakness, and they'll criticize you for it, and they'll say you need to be realistic. And I just hate that. I think it's the silliest thing. And society does reward a lot of bad behaviors, and that's why we think that being kind, being good is a weakness, because you look on social media and you see people doing bad things, outrage, insulting people, rage baiting, all these kind of things, and they get all the things that our egos crave. And we're in like this society that is very ego driven. Majority of it's very ego driven actually, and most people, what they're chasing is the superficial. These silly things that don't actually bring joy, don't actually bring peace and happiness and freedom to our lives. So they're wanting likes and follows and reactions, and they're wanting all this, and they do bad things to get it. So this topic is something that's quite it's quite dear to me. I'm going to just talk about a few random things before I get to the actual topics. There's a few people I'm waiting to show up. I'm waiting for them to show up before I start talking. So let's see what the internet is saying about Stoicism. It's funny, I get asked, "Hi there, man. It's good to have you. It's good to have you here." I'm glad you showed up. I was waiting for you to show up. I'm curious about, because I get asked this a lot actually, what books to read. Like that's probably one of the biggest questions that's at least top three when I talk about Stoicism. People are like, "What book do I read?" Yeah, man. If you're busy, I mean, the live stream will be available. It'll be uploaded to my page. But if you have any questions, on this topic or just questions for me, just get them in now, and then the live stream will be saved anyway, so you can view the answer. I'll definitely answer your questions. But I appreciate having you here. And did you get the notification? I'm still struggling with this whole notification business, because I've got another account and it's never shown up for me. And I don't know when it's supposed to show up. I checked with YouTube and they say when you schedule it, it sends one out. When you go live, it sends one out. But I have not been getting any. So I still need to sort things. And I know I said I would have the sound set up, the light set up, the studio set up, whatever. But I didn't promise that. I promised that I'd be here, and that's why I'm here. And that's why the lesson plan was very rushed. But yeah, people ask me what book to read, what books to read, and they're like asking all these like things like these fancy books and these new age books. And genuinely, honestly, you can start with this, just this, which is the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. And I keep mixing this up. This is the Martin Hammond translation. Now, this is my personal favorite. Everyone recommends the Gregory Hayes translation, but I don't really care. And I think people who care so much are like snobs. Not snobs, I don't know, just they're gatekeeping. There's a lot of gatekeeping when it comes to philosophy and all this stuff. But that is a great book. So I recommend that book. And then the Discourses and Selected Writings of Epictetus, and then Letters from Stoic Seneca. You don't really need anything else for a long time. They will get you through pretty much everything. And then if you're wondering how to read it, which is one of the next questions I get asked, is like, especially the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, everyone's like, how do you read the Meditations? You read it like this. You just read it and read it. No, so like, I rarely read this book cover to cover. I'll show you what a page looks like. There's some really strange drawings in my book. I'm trying to find some of them. Like, did you see that? It's upside down. So you'd think I'd know how to use a camera. So this is page 1 actually, and it's like all the teachings, all the things I learned from that page. I've drew a diagram of the circles of Hierocles. Yes, memento mori, never forget it. Yeah, so like probably once a day we'll find a random passage. So I find a random passage. I'm trying to find a good one. Where are we? Book 17, book 417. No, you do not have 1,000 years to live. Urgency is upon you. While you live, while you can, become good. And I've made some notes on it. Stop wasting time. Urgency, do it right now. Become good. Becoming good. And I was like, what is good? What did the Stoics think is good? Well, virtue is the only good. So I was like, okay, so what they're saying is, I don't have thousands of years to wait. I don't have thousands of years to waste. I've got to live urgently. And while I can, I need to urgently be good. And then I found out that good was virtue. So I was like, okay, so what Marcus Aurelius is saying here is stop procrastinating on life, be present, live life whilst I have it, and live a virtuous life, be a good person in society. And then I just go over it and then try and apply it into my life. So literally I'd wake up the next day or I'd go to bed or whatever, and I'd think, right, got to be present, got to be good in this moment. There's no delay in. Memento mori. Anyone that's wondering what memento mori means, it means remember death or remember your immortality. But it just means to remember that we are mortal. And that's kind of what that quote was pertaining to. Am I going to start streaming on different days too? Yes. So I am planning to do at least three, which would be Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday. I'm just trying to get my life to work in order of that. I still haven't got there yet, but I think next week should be the start. And it will be a similar time. It'll be a bit earlier on a Sunday. It'll be a similar time, and it'll be a more structured time. Thursday, Wednesday, Sunday. And I'm thinking if there's any other days I can fit it in, maybe do a late night session or get up at 5 and do 5 to 8, which might reach a different audience. I don't know. I know in the UK that's a bit of a time to get up to listen to a live stream, but in America, 5 hours. It's nighttime, I suppose. So I'm just trying to fit in as many as possible, just to make it more of a reoccurring thing. Because my main goal actually is to build. My main goal is to build this community of like-minded people, so we can all be in here discussing Stoic topics. And the only thing that is going to be solely mine is the teaching that will be in the middle of the live stream. So I'll be talking on a certain topic, which today it is about society thinks that good people are weak and naive, but actually good people are the strongest among us. So that's what I'm talking about today. But the rest of it is the community. I want to discuss Stoic concepts, discuss things about being a good person, discuss about the problems in society that we're seeing. And together, I think, because we're like-minded people and we're focusing on, the Stoic virtues, especially the crowning virtue, justice. I think, one person can do a lot of good in this world. Together, hundreds of people can do great things. And I'm already noticing what I'm loving now is I've live streamed 5 times. I've had the same group of people in each time. And it's it's really, I don't know the word, heartwarming. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel confident that I'm there is, because you go on social media, it will have you believe that there's bad people and everyone's bad and we're all against each other and it's us against them and we're all just fighting and the world's full of hate. But actually, this is a reminder. It's there's a group of people in here that their mission is to follow the Stoic virtues, to be a good person, to follow justice, to make the world a better place, to make themselves a better person in this world. Marcus Aurelius says what is good for the hive is good for the bee. So that's where we start. I'll be starting the topic soon. Like I said, the topic is society thinks that good people are weak and naive, but actually the Stoics believed that good people are the strongest among us. I know a lot of people resonate with this. I said this on my Instagram and it is my most viewed video. So I know a lot of people resonate with it. This is the beginner. It hasn't even begun, Eleanor. It hasn't begun yet. The topic hasn't started, and I'm just getting into it. I'm getting ready. I would say though, I did promise I'd turn up. That's the only thing I promised, is I'd be here on Wednesday, and I am here. But unfortunately, because of work and life, and I haven't built my schedule yet around live streaming, which should be done next week. all going well. Because of that, is like I got home from work and had to quickly rush out this topic. So if the topic is a bit weak, it's a really good topic. It's really good. I really like it. What I mean by weak is like I try and structure it for an actual, so it comes across as a lesson rather than just me talking. But we might find, I might find, that structure is for caged animals, and I don't need structure. I need to be loose. Don't know what I want about. Can kindness still be a virtue in Stoicism when it weakens self-respect or personal boundaries? Yeah, that's the thing. It's like this balance, and I will be talking about that. It's that balance between goodness and kindness. Like I use kindness as a good word. Like to me, kindness is goodness, but I know what you mean, and that's what I'll be talking about because it really delves into, or it can blend with, people pleasing, which I was like the greatest people pleaser you would have ever met. I lived my life for other people, and that wasn't good. You know, I can't remember. It's like Shuheng Yi talks about this as like demon hand, Buddha heart. You need the demon hand and the Buddha heart to truly be a good person. I think there's a few philosophers that talk about it as like the Musashi is the warrior in the garden. It's best to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener at war. So you need to understand these things. You can't just be placid and walked all over, but you need to be good. I'll be there. Start work at 7 a.m. Yeah, maybe it's a good idea. Start do the live streams at 5. I like this time on a Wednesday, and I like this time on a Thursday because it fits into my schedule. But I might get maybe Monday, Tuesday, 5 a.m. live stream. But I'll put it out there. I will be putting a schedule out there. So there's pressure for you to turn up. Okay. The Mystic Mac. The Mystic Mac is back. What is good for citizens is good for the city. Exactly. Yeah. How do you know when kindness turns into self-betrayal in Stoicism? What does Stoic suggest we do to people who? How do you know when kindness turns into self-betrayal in Stoicism? When you overstep virtue, when you deny yourself a virtue, when you betray your own character, your own beliefs, your own moral standing. And it can become very, very blurry, especially when it's mixed with your egoic narrative, and it's mixed with fears and anxieties and worries, and people pleasing is tied into a lot of like a lack of self-worth as well. So it is hard, but I think I would say, like, at least for me, I knew the answer to that. I knew the answer to that. When I was people pleasing, I was being kind, but it didn't feel good. I felt like I was betraying what was actually good, because it's not good to pander to someone, but then be upset at it and be angry and be bitter. You don't want to end up bitter after doing something kind. You shouldn't end up bitter after being kind. In fact, kindness makes you feel good. So if you're ending up bitter, if you're ending up angry and resentful of the person you've done the favor for, then it was probably the wrong thing to do. Now, of course, sometimes in life there's a compromise to do the right thing. Sometimes it's hard to do the right thing, and it can be painful to do the right thing. But generally speaking, you shouldn't be bitter after being kind, because that wouldn't be kindness. Okay, just for the people that are joining, I will be getting into the topic. So that's the reason I'll be talking today. Is the topic of society says that kind people are weak and naive, but actually they are the strongest among us, and even the ancient Stoics believed this. So I'll be going through that topic, and then I'll be doing a Q&A on that topic. Yeah, when you put yourself down to put other people up, yeah, exactly. That's so right. You shouldn't it shouldn't even be an equation. You shouldn't have to go down for someone else to go up. It like all tides. What was it say? The rising tides rise all ships. Is that it? Someone correct me on that. But you know what I mean? Like it should all rise together. Doing good. What does Marcus Aurelius says? He says, "You have done good; they have received it. Why then, like fools, do you wait for a third thing in return?" Doing the good is the thing in itself. It feels good. It's good for your character. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll be getting into the topic. Society says that kind people are weak and naive, but actually they are the strongest among us. I made a video on Instagram about this, and it really resonated with a lot of people. And it resonates with me. My whole life, I fought this idea of that I'm weak. I got told I'm weak. Like people would always say, "Oh, you're not a man. You're weak," and I really struggled with it because I was trying to fit into society whilst also being good. And then when society's telling me that I shouldn't be good, it like my morals and my ego are clashing, and it caused a lot of turmoil. It was like a battle going on in my mind, and now that turmoil has been put to bed because there is nothing more important than virtue. Nothing supersedes virtue. And there's so many reasons for this, but the main reason for me that nothing supersedes virtue, that nothing is put above virtue, is that you can never be corrupted. If all of your pursuits and your goals and everything that you want to do, if they are tied to the idea of first I must be virtuous, this must be in line with virtue, then you can do all these things and you'll always remain a good person. Yes, Matthew. I'll be starting probably in like 5 minutes. But like I said, if you have any questions about what I say in the stream, or if you just have any general questions directed towards me or towards people in the chat, just leave them whenever you can. I know you're busy. People are busy. It's a busy world we're living in. But yeah, if you have any questions, just leave them. I will answer every single question. So you won't miss out on anything. The live stream will be, what's the word? It'll be uploaded to the page afterwards. And any resources, anything I talk about in here, I learned this from the last live stream. If I talk about anything and people are asking for it, I'll post it into the community tab. Okay. So I'll be starting soon. But like I said, I wrote this down really quick, this whole structure, and it was a bit rushed. So I do apologize, but hey, I'm only human. And the only promise was that I'd get here and be live. I know I did suggest that I would have a better sound system by now and a better lighting system, but you know, life hasn't led me there yet. That was fate permitting, as the Stoics say. We'll do it fate permitting. We don't know. It's not within our full control, but we can do our best and focus on what's within our control. So for now, you just have the live stream. And like, can't remember who it was, someone asked about, will I be live any other days? The plan is to be live at least 3 times a week, and with a better setup and a better structure and a better idea of how to do live streaming. But hey, I'm getting better at it. There's no resistance now. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. So I will be going live soon. Just a random suggestion, because this is a book I picked up off my shelf the other day that I haven't read for like, it's one of my oldest books, I think. This book, it's Tupac's poems, which is cool in itself, right? His is very poetic. His poems are very beautiful, and the way he sees life is really profound. Like he was seeing the beauty in everything. The beauty in people, the beauty in the mundane. And that's what I love. I love this. I hate the illusion that most people are living in, that we have to seek things outside of ourselves. We have to get to beauty. We have to get to happiness. We have to get to peace and freedom and love, when many of these things are already within us. They are already around us. It's just we refuse to look at what is here and now. So we look outwards, expecting things. And Tupac was very introspective. It was very reflective. But anyway, the cool thing is that I really find cool is it's actually his pages. Like you can see all of his. It has the poem on one side, and then it has the actual his pages. But one thing I find funny about Tupac is when he does I. So if he's writing a poem and he says, I breathe fresh air, the I can't find an example. He draws an actual I. I don't know if you can see this. Just when I thought. And I find it funny. And when he does love, he draws a love heart, that kind of thing. It's really interesting, actually. But hey, anyone that listens to Tupac and likes his work, or anyone that likes poetry, I really recommend that book. It's called Tupac, The Rose That Grew from the Concrete. Of course, that comes from his famous poem, The Rose That Grew from the Concrete, which actually I'll read before I get into the lesson, because it's such a beautiful poem. And who doesn't like poetry? You know what's odd? I hated literacy. I hated books. I hated poetry. I thought it was all stupid when I was at school, and I hated it all. And then I leave school and fall in love with poetry, fall in love with stories, and fall in love with all this kind of stuff. And I used to think it was stupid when the teacher was saying, "What did they mean by this?" or whatever. And I was like, "You're reaching." I used to always think like, "You're just making things up." But then when you get into it, you're like, "Yeah, it makes sense." So Tupac, The Rose That Grew from the Concrete. Did you hear about the rose that grew from a crack in the concrete? Proving nature's laws wrong, it learned to walk without having feet. Funny it seems, by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from the concrete when no one else even cared. I love that poem. Okay, we're getting into the lesson roughly about now. I'm just wondering if there's any questions. I just finished meditation to start a discourse today. You're in for a treat, because what's odd is, like, even though I read this book so much and I say it's my favorite book, the discourses are where it's at. Epictetus, like, he takes Stoicism to another level. Like, I mean, Marcus Aurelius learned a lot from Epictetus as an example. But Epictetus was more of a Stoic. He was a slave turned philosopher. Like, he lived and breathed Stoicism. And he didn't write any of this down, which is funny. It's like these Stoic books have such odd. The genesis of them is so odd. Like Marcus Aurelius, it was his personal diary. He was writing his diary that was never meant to be read by anyone. Epictetus, he was teaching people in the streets for free, and some of his students. There's Arian of Nicomedia decides to write it all down and makes this book. And then Seneca's like writing letters to his friend Lucilius, to Lucilius, and it's like, just write a book, guys. But I think that's what makes it stand out a bit more. Epictetus was literally teaching people this. He didn't care about the book. Some say he's William Shakespeare. Yeah, some say that. Okay, yeah, but that's the thing. Epictetus, he is very. I find a slight humor in his work. It's also his work's very. I think he tried to use shock factor a lot with his students. It's my assumption. He tried to use shock factor with his students, really like drill it into them. So some of the stuff he says might seem quite shocking, quite strong. But if you really follow Stoicism, then you should believe it. Like when he's talking about if you're being beheaded, he's like, "Did I ever claim I can't be beheaded? Even Zeus may fetter my legs, but he can never chain my will. That I will always be a good person. You can never stop me from being good. Did I ever say that death is bad? No, but crying like a coward." I'm paraphrasing him completely, but he's like, "I'm not a coward, so I'm not bad. It's not bad. If I have to die, then I have to die. If I don't have to die now, then I'll have my lunch." And then, like, talks about his being exiled and how that's a perfect chance to practice his Stoic philosophy. Just all round great guy. So you're in for a treat. Probably the Stoic I learned the most from, actually. It's the way it's written out as well. Anyway, I won't bore you with that. You'll get into it when you read it. So today's topic, yeah, let's go for lunch is brilliant. But like, he said these things. Someone wrote them down. He said it. He's not like, he wasn't writing it for effect or anything. He said it and it was written down. So I'm going to go over today's topic. I pinned it as the top comment. I didn't pin it, actually. I just put it as the first comment. I'll pin it wherever it goes. The strongest soul, why kindness is the ultimate Stoic power. And this is, if you're a good person, which I'm assuming a lot of you are, if you're pursuing Stoicism, which is like aimed on, I mean, the the telos of Stoicism, the end goal of Stoicism is to live in accordance with virtue. It's to be a good person. The crowning virtue is justice. So literally Stoicism is around being a good person, being good for yourself, and being good for society. So I'm assuming that if you're here, then you are wanting to be a good person, you're trying to be a good person, or you are a good person and you value being good. And you might even understand this feeling of being a good person, but having that thought at the back of your mind, like, what's the point in being good? Society rewards bad people. People always say I'm weak. People always say I'm naive. Why should I be good? So it's a topic that's like really dear to me. It's like a thing I struggled with for so long, like a little battle I had of being good or fitting in with society. Which one wins? We're still trying to find out. No, I always said I will never stray from virtue. So you've got that. And if I do, you can just stop following me, and you can unfollow me on Instagram. You can unfollow me on YouTube. You can stop listening to me. You can burn my book if I stop. If I decide to say that there's more important things than virtue. Okay. Or at least, like, I'm not following the goal of Stoicism, which is to live in accordance with nature. Now, that does include being pro-social and being virtuous. There's a few more to it, but that's basically it. Be a good person, be a good member of society, ultimately, is what the Stoics wanted. Now you can figure out the nuances. Okay, so I'll start the topic now. So, Eleanor, that's where Stoicism comes in. It comes in really handy. When you start to understand it, the virtue is the only good, then you won't betray being kind, and you won't even feel that people are taking advantage of you, because you'll do things regardless. Like that quote I said earlier is like Marcus Aurelius quote, if you've done good, they've received it. Why then, like fools, do you look for a third thing in return? If I've done good and then people try to take advantage of that, it doesn't bother me. I've already done the good. I've already done the thing that I wanted to do. Like they can't take advantage of it. I'll only give what I want to give. It's like the thing with setting up boundaries. Like a boundary isn't a wall to keep people out. A boundary is a door that you decide to open who you want to let in. So you let people in. If they hurt you, you're the one who let them in, and you keep out the people you don't want to let in. It's like it's a system. It's a great system. That's what boundaries do. But basically, if you feel that people are taking advantage of you, then that is ultimately on you. Because you're allowing them to keep coming through your door, and you keep allowing them to take advantage of your good nature. If you just do good because you want to do good, and you've done it, then you would never feel like you've been taken advantage of. Yeah, I mean, this is blurry. You're definitely right. Kindness does get mistaken for other things, and it can be hard. And there's a lot of nuance to this. Hopefully, I'll be talking about this in the topic. And yeah, I know you won't stray from that. And it's difficult because it took me like 11 years of reading the Stoics to like kind of understand it, and I'm still not there, but like I was there. Like I'll be good, follow virtue, be kind, and wouldn't you know it, for like a decade, I felt like I was being taken advantage of. I felt like people were not reciprocating my good nature. I felt like I was weak, and that's why I'm doing today's topic. But then I realized partway through, I was like, geez, I wasn't actually being good. I was being a people pleaser. I was pandering to people. I was betraying my own character and my morals and my virtue. So it's like, it's a fine line. But hey, we stick together. We learn from the Stoics. We have this group going, and soon we'll start to understand it. It's a long process. The Stoics talk about all these things as they're like a doctor with a doctor with the doctor's tools, like the scalpel, the forceps, the everything. The doctor gets these tools, has them to hand, learns how to use them, keep them sharp, and eventually the doctor has everything they need to perform any surgery, any accident that comes up in life. And that's what you'll have. Hopefully, it seems like that's what you build in. And when you get those things where you feel like things aren't going right, you're like, oh, what is the point? My Stoic principles aren't taking me anywhere. People are taking advantage. I feel bad. I feel rubbish. I feel anxious. That pain point, that feeling is really good. In fact, that's like a perfect signal. Now, when I get these pain points, like I literally had one just for this live stream. I was having one of feeling like, I'll be honest, I was like, I don't really want to do this live stream. I'm so underprepared. I've just finished work. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I was getting a bit nervous because I was like, I can't just turn on this live stream and have nothing to talk about. That would be not fair to the people that expect me, the people that show up each time. And I'll embarrass myself. But that popped up and I was like, that's me. That's resistance. That little pain point I've got, let's address it with the Stoic virtues. And I did. And then I was like, well, I need to stick to my word. I told people I'd be here. So I'm here. Okay, that was maybe a terrible example, but it's the first thing that came to mind. Yeah, trust me, trust the process. It's like, I can only speak from my personal. I know people who I've taught Stoicism to, and they say it's changed their life. I can only speak from my personal example, though. Is like, if you followed me enough or you read my book, is like, I was constantly 24/7 anxious. Anxiety ruled my life. It stopped me from going to the shop, stopped me from leaving the house. It meant I was laying in bed till 3 a.m. when I need to be up at 5. My heart was pounding. I wouldn't do things, and I really struggled. And like depression, I had depression for many years when I was younger. But then Stoicism just like, I don't have these things. Like negativity comes in sometimes. Sad thoughts come in, angry thoughts come in, anxious feelings come in. Like just before this live stream, because I wasn't prepared, I got that anxious feeling. And then I was like, it's just a transient feeling that comes in. I don't have to hold on to it and identify with it. I don't have to make that my persona, We can just let it be the thing that it is. It's just an indicator of a feeling. Anxiety is an indicator. Back in the day, we needed it. I mean, we still need it now. It keeps me sharp. If I never got nervous for these live streams, and eventually I'd start to like, I wouldn't prepare. I wouldn't be ready. I wouldn't be psyched. I wouldn't be excited. And anxiety and nervousness and excitement, it's all the same thing. It's just how we start to put it into ourselves. Anyway, I'll be here every Wednesday and hopefully more days to follow. Right, so today's topic is society says that kind people are weak and naive, but the strongest among us are good. And the ancient Stoics believe this. I'll talk about this a little bit on my Instagram. If you're wanting more of that, just head over to my Instagram. But I'll get into the topic soon. I'll get into the topic literally in 30 seconds. But the idea is I'll be talking on this topic. I'll struggle to read the chat because I'll be in my head thinking. And for some reason, I can't multitask very well. But I will do the topic probably about 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour. I don't know how long these things go on for. It's just I'll be talking. I try to keep them concise. That's why I wrote a plan, but who knows? And at the end of it, if you have any questions, start talking about it or put questions as you're going along, and we will get to them at the end. And the most important thing is that we're all learning about the Stoic virtues, the Stoic principles, the practices, and we're aiming towards virtue. We're aiming towards becoming better people, and we're building a little community. That's the main goal. My main goal here is to build a community of like-minded people that actually want to do good in this world. They're sick of seeing all these bad people getting famous, all these bad people having stupid influence over the world. I believe we're little stones, which doesn't sound too good, but a little stone thrown into a lake can send ripples out into the lake. And guess what? One stone can send out ripples to another 100. That's the terrible analogy. I can, if I can build a community of 100 people that are thinking like me, wanting to change the world like me, or wanting to put good into the community and their day-to-day lives like me, and I touch the lives of 100 people, those 100 people can touch the lives of 100 people. And when you are present and authentic and you really touch someone's life, that carries on. So for all of you listening, I haven't even started the lesson, but yeah, for all of you listening, one small act, like a little bit of good, is a lot of good for this world. I'll leave you with one little story and then I'll get into the lesson. So when I was younger, I was 17, 16. I was 17 when I was bricklaying, or I was bricklayer's laborer. And I was in a dark, dark place, probably the worst place I've been in my life at that time. I've never revisited a place like that in my head. It's like set me up for life. It's like put life on easy mode so far, but who knows what life can throw at me. I'm ready for it. I always say that now. It's like I'm ready for some pain because I feel like you learn a lot from pain. Anyway, and it's inevitable anyway. But I was in a dark place, and like I said, I wasn't sleeping. I'd go to bed at like 3, wake up at 5, start work, get home, do the process. Anyway, I'd be at the same bus stop, and I'd always fall asleep at the bus stop. I'd try and read my books, but I was always falling asleep. And one day, I'm stood up at this bus stop with a load of people, and I fall asleep. This happened a few times, and actually, it's something I was annoyed about because one time I fell asleep, and the bus almost left without me. Bear in mind, I stood around a load of people that I was always stood with. They all got on the bus and tried to leave me, and then the bus driver started shouting at me and woke me up. So like everyone at the bus stop decided like this guy's fell asleep. He's been waiting for the bus for 20 minutes. Let's leave him sleeping. Maybe they're trying to be nice and not disturb my sleep. But anyway, this one fine evening, I'm falling asleep at the bus stop, and I hear a truck pull up, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And a guy is running towards me. A bin man is running towards me in his high vis, and he's got a book in hand. He hands me the book. It's a Jack Reacher novel. And he says, I always see you reading books at this bus stop. I always see you here. And I just thought of you. And I got you this book. I seen it on a job and I got it you. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. It blew my mind. I was like, this guy is going about his day to day. He's seen me at the bus stop reading a book. And then, you know what? I haven't even thought about it that deep for so long. That is such a nice thing. I haven't even thought about it like that. That guy is doing his day-to-day life, and he's just thought about a random kid at a bus stop, and he thought, "Hey, he probably saw the book on a bin or something from his job, and he thought, I'm gonna save this for when I see that kid at the bus stop." And he gave I've never even thought about that. Anyway, all the more reason. Right. So since that day, literally when that happened, I was like, reminded me of the Lord of the Rings quote. There's some good in this world that's worth fighting for. That bin man showed me that there's some good in this world and it's worth fighting for. That not everyone's out to get, because I felt like the world was out to get me. My boss was a bully. Everyone hated me, but it wasn't true. I just felt this way, and he lit a spark in my heart, in my soul, that is now a roaring blaze. So the point is, I'll get into the lesson now, but the point is like your little thing of good. You might not think much of it. You might think, oh, I'm just like sending a nice text to someone. I'm just writing a little poem for someone. I'm just making dinner for someone. I'm just helping someone. I'm just giving my bus ticket to that woman with her kids, whatever it is, or I'm just tipping the waitress, whatever you're doing. I know in America it's like you have to tip. So bad example. But whatever it is like that little act of kindness can spark a fire in someone's heart. Because that bin man probably thought, I'm just giving a book to this kid. But 12 years later, is it 12 years later? Yeah, I'm 30. Jeez, getting old. Can't wait for retirement when I'm 60 and I'm grey. Oh, and I'm wrinkly. It's going to be amazing. But the point is that he probably didn't think, like, I'm just giving a book. He's probably never thought much of it since. But he changed my life. And I still try and do good because of that man. So that little bit of good that you think you're just doing, it can change lives. Like really, there's like old people that don't speak to people for weeks at a time, that feel so lonely, that are crippled by loneliness and depression. And I've met people like this, and they've told me that just having a conversation at the coffee shop or on the bus literally has saved their life. Literally saved their life. So if you just meet everyone with authenticity and kindness, and you think like every moment is a moment, every moment is the moment, every moment is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to change the world, to change life, to change your life. That is really sweet. That is really sweet. But yeah, those snails, like a snail is a part of the ecosystem, and you're helping that. And also like you're stopping people from stepping on the snails. Like I've stepped on snails in the past, and it makes me feel bad. I stepped on a frog. I was cold. I was doing a cold swim. This is like a few years ago during a winter in a lake. went for a cold swim, got out and stood on a frog, and I felt so guilty. So if you was there to move the frogs out of the way, I wouldn't have felt so bad. And the frog, hey, he jumped out of the way, which is insane. A frog took my whole weight. Like, I was like 90 kilos at the time. I stood on him and he survived, and he's tiny. But he might have not lived a good life after, maybe. Who knows? I apologize. Okay, so I'll get into the topic anyway. So let me get my lesson plan up. And I do apologize if it's a bit all over the place. Like I said, I finished work and tried to rush it. So because I wanted to turn up today with something. Okay, so society says, I'll start that again with a little bit of water. I'm so used to saying this because I say it on my Instagram, so now it seems a bit too scripted. Yeah, some things are scripted. Society says that kind people are weak and naive, but actually they are the strongest among us. And even the ancient Stoics believe this. So you've probably heard this before. The nice guy finishes last. The good people are weak. You're going to get walked all over. You are naive. You've probably even been told this. And currently, this modern world rewards selfish people. It rewards bad people because they get exactly what they want. And I always told I was weak. I was always told this because I tried to be good, and people said that you never get bitter, you're never filled with hate, you never demand revenge, so you're weak, you're not a proper man. And this caused a lot of conflict in my life. Do I be good or do I be a proper man and be strong? Well, I found out the answer many years later after reading the Stoics. Here's what I find interesting is that Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire. Seneca advised emperors. He advised Emperor Nero, which didn't go so well. Epictetus survived slavery and became one of the most famous philosophers to ever live. But all three of them reached this conclusion. They believed that goodness was not a weakness. They believed that it was the ultimate strength. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. Society saying that society saying that good people are weak and naive, but actually Stoics believed the complete opposite. So why do people think that kind people are weak? Why do they equate kindness to weakness? I believe it is because all the things that our ego drives for are easily attainable through being bad. So our ego demands respect. Now, we can either be good and earn respect through our character, which is hard work. It takes temperance, it takes discipline, it takes a lot of strength to be good always. Or we can be rewarded respect by being bad, by making people fear us, by being angry, by making people submit to us. We get this feeling of respect. Of course, it is an illusion of respect. And another thing is like we want money. So we could either work hard for money, have discipline, follow the rules, and then slowly accumulate money, which does work, can work. There's a lot of rich people that are very good people. Or we can cheat, we can lie, we can steal, we can cut corners. And this is actually the fastest route to money. It's like you could work years to save up thousands of pounds, or you could just steal it from someone, which is easier. We know which one's easier. So the things that our ego drives for, the things that our ego strives for, are rewarded and easily obtainable through being bad. So it's like we have this drive, our ego is craving validation, our ego is craving, and this is seen through wanting more followers, wanting more likes, wanting more engagement on our posts and on social media. So everyone is trying to get clout and fame on social media. And would you know it, that actually being controversial, saying hateful things, dividing people actually gets you more of this, gets you more likes, gets you more follows, gets you more of a reaction, which fills our ego. We feel like, whoa, look at all this validation. Because it is true that even though you get a lot of criticism, you get a lot of hate, it's still feedback. And I can guarantee you, I could go on social media tomorrow, and if I start saying very divided things, if I start saying very controversial and hateful things, I will actually get more positive feedback. I'll get more followers. I'll get more thumbs up. Why is this? Because it'll get pushed out to more people, and it will find an audience that agrees with it. It's just an echo chamber. And it's actually something I really don't like about social media. It's like this echo chamber, and it pushes it to people that agree with that hate, or are slightly on the fence about agreeing with that hate. But if you get someone that sounds really eloquent, that sounds really smart, that sounds cool, and they're charismatic, and they're saying hateful things that are kind of in line with what you're thinking, maybe you're in a bad spot right now and you're like, oh, you see it with men and women all the time. It's like a guy gets his heart broke by a woman. Now he's a good dude. He's a good dude, but a woman broke his heart. And then he goes on social media and it's stuff about women. Women will break your heart because they don't care. Like he didn't believe it at one point, but now he's got this pain point. And then there's a charismatic dude online that millions of people follow speaking to his pain point, and he sounds so smart and so factual, and everyone's agreeing with him. Suddenly they can be pulled down this direction. That's another story. It's just something I don't like about social media. It's one of the many things I don't like about social media, even though I'm always there, I'm always working there. But that's my strive, is to make it a better place. So yeah, outrage sells, and also you can scam people online. So doing bad things rewards our ego. And that is why we say that being good is a weakness. So that's why a lot of society says that being good is a weakness. And society will push this idea that if you want to win, you have to stop being so nice. And you hear this narrative be told all the time. It's like, just focus on yourself, go ghost mode, ignore others, do you, get your bag, get your money, stop caring what other people think, you just do you. And it's like pushing this narrative that you have to be bad, you have to be selfish if you want to be rewarded. And while I personally believe that all these rewards that the ego is driving for, the majority of them are so superficial. They're just a veil. They're a fraction of a moment. They'll bring you short-term pleasure, but they will never bring you happiness. They'll never bring you peace. They'll never bring you the good life. And what is Stoicism? It's the guide to the good life. That's why I'm talking about this stuff. I used to think that strength meant becoming harder, and that to be a man, you had to be selfish, you had to be arrogant, you had to not care what other people think. And I believed this. And so I had this inner conflict of like my moral beliefs that virtue is the only good, but then societal expectations that were put upon me that in order to be good, in order to be a man, I had to be this person that didn't care, that was rude, that took advantage of people. And it's caused so much conflict because my image of myself, whilst I was striving for good, led me to feel like I was not worthy. Anyway, this led to a lot of inner conflict. So, why does goodness look weak? It's like things like cynicism looks intelligent, cynicism looks realistic, and good people, kind people, dreamers, they're always told to be realistic. They're always told to get their head out of the clouds. They're always told that they need to be real. The society does not agree with them. It's like society wants to dim our light so that it doesn't blind the people that choose to sit in the dark. Right? If you're a good person, if you're a dreamer, if you want to change the world and you want to be good, that light is blinding to the people that choose to sit in the dark. It's like crabs in a barrel. If they're all in the dark because they've given up on hope, they've decided that the good in this world isn't worth fighting for, if they've decided this, then it is easier to pull you into the dark with them than it is to climb towards the light. It's crabs in a barrel. Crabs in a barrel, they're trying to escape. They pull all the other crabs down with them. And that's what these people do because they've given up. And I haven't given up on them. And I hope you haven't given up on them, because it doesn't mean they're a bad person. the Stoics talk about this as like, they say that moral blindness is worse than physical blindness because they don't see what they're doing wrong. They can't see it because maybe a lot of people we call bad, they have grown up in households that didn't teach them how to be good, that taught them that being bad is the right thing to do, that rewarded bad behavior. And society is rewarding bad behavior. So you've got to have some compassion for them, right? You got to hold some space for them. That'll be your hardest challenge. So anyone that's like listening and been following along with me, I say I don't give homework, but this is a good thing. Is like try be kind to the people you hate. Try be kind to people we consider bad, because you'll realize that you might be wrong about these people. And I've been wrong about this. I used to judge people on their demeanor and their swagger. So, like, because where I grew up, there's a lot of people they walk and talk a certain way, and a lot of these people who I grew up around that walk and talk like this were going around beating people up, were going around stealing from people, were causing trouble in the neighborhood, all this kind of thing. We're walking around with knives and holding you at knife point and robbing from you and all this kind of thing. So I developed an idea that people that dress a certain way and walk a certain way and talk a certain way, and they have this like angry demeanor and this angry swagger, like they want to start a fight. They're always looking for a fight. I had this belief, like people that walk and talk like that, they're bad people. So I can be good for everyone else, but if I come across these people, I'm gonna turn the other way, or I'm gonna like meet them with the same energy that they're meeting me. But anyway, I see this guy one time. I'm waiting for a bus, and he's walking like this, and I'm like, "Oh, here comes trouble, right? Here comes trouble." And he's walking. I'm like, "What is he doing?" He's like weaving in and out of people. He's just looking for a fight, because this was common where I grew up. People just looking for fights, any reason, any excuse to just beat someone up. And he's walking like this, and I'm like, "What is he doing?" I'm really curious, and everyone at the bus stop's looking at him like, "What is he doing?" And you know what he was doing? He was looking for rubbish to pick up and put in a bin. So he's collecting all this rubbish, and he's just walking around with his swagger, this demeanor that I considered rude and angry, and he's picking it all up and putting it in a bin. And that day, something changed for me. I was like, even the people I think that are bad people, I could be wrong about them. Because he grew up in a household, he grew up in a society that maybe was this demeanor was normal for him, that he has to have this certain look because that's how he survives. Or maybe he wanted to turn a new leaf, he wanted to be a good person. And I hold that space for everyone. I think we can't keep perpetuating this negativity. When someone is bad, we start treating them like a bad person. Yeah, justice needs to be served, but you can't just keep treating people like bad people, because then they will behave like bad people. Sometimes that little glimpse of compassion for the bad guy, for the bad girl, that little glimpse of love and care is enough. That little look, that little smile, when they see that, they're like, oh, society hasn't given up on me, so I don't have to give up on myself. You know? Um, and this is the thing about like why we think goodness is a weakness, is like anger looks powerful. Visually, anger looks powerful. The angry guy that's starting fights with people, that puffs up his chest, he seems powerful. People are scared of him, but it's not true power. And compassion looks vulnerable. It's something that can be taken advantage of. If you have the compassionate guy, you have the angry guy. Like visually, you're like, the angry guy, he's more powerful. But it's not true. He doesn't have the power to control his emotions. He doesn't have the power to think about other people, to have empathy towards the people around him. He only has the power to think about himself. So here's another thing actually that I want you to think about. It's a story about me being a bad person. We get used to goodness. We get used to goodness. And it's one of these things, it makes me feel sick. I hate it that it's like a human trait, and it's within all of us. It's within me, and it certainly was. And I'll give you an example, a story of this with one of my old bosses. It was a great guy, and we get used to goodness, and I really hate it because it's what leads to like stagnation. Like you have a really nice husband, really nice wife, and you get used to their kindness because they're always they every day you get home from work, they give you a cuddle, they've got dinner made for you. And eventually it feels like your God-given right. And you're like, yeah, I get it. I deserve it. I deserve it. And we get used to kindness. We should never get used to kindness. But here's my example, right? I used to be a cleaner. It was one of my favorite jobs. I used to be a cleaner. I would clean up derelict homes and homes that were trashed and homes of hoarders and homes where accidents had happened. Really bad accidents, the worst kind of accidents. I won't talk about it because I don't know if YouTube likes that kind of thing, but the worst kind of accidents. Anyway, so these houses were pretty awful. There was somewhere people decided that they couldn't use the toilet anymore, so they would use their bed as the toilet for years, or that kind of thing. Really horrible. It makes you actually really empathetic because it actually kind of changed my life. It's like some of these homes, I remember one is like you couldn't even open the door because there was just nappies, like diapers for you Americans, uh, just everywhere. You couldn't even open a door, like everywhere, and needles. And like, when you judge people that are bad, like even really like horrible people, rude people, it's like, what if they grew up like this? Like they grew up in a household like that. Like, yeah. Yeah. Maybe not think about that, make me emotional. Um, so anyway, so my story is I did this job and my boss, he was a really great man, really great man. I sometimes bump into him. And he used to pick me up around 6. He'd pull up in the work van and pick me up around 6. And every single day before work, he would bring me an Americano from McDonald's. He would get himself a coffee, cappuccino, I think, and he would bring me an Americano. And he would do this every single day without fail. So I'd get in the van, he'll hand it me, and he'd be like, "Good morning, Will." I was called Will at this point. I didn't get upgraded to William. "Good morning, Will. Hand me this Americano." McDonald's make great Americanos, I believe, because their beans are always fresh, always fresh. They've got a good supply. Just my personal belief. And I would get it and I'd clean. I'd go about my day. Anyway, one day, bear in mind, he's done this for like months. Um, he goes out his way to get me this coffee, spends the money, gives it me. One day he turns up and he didn't have a coffee. And what do I do? What did I do to this guy that was kind to me for many months? I got annoyed. Like, I didn't show him I was annoyed, but I was in a bad mood. I was like, why has he not brought me a coffee? Like, what's wrong with him? Like, genuinely, I had this belief. Like, I was like, this was going through my head. I was like, what is wrong with it? So I'm like cleaning. I'm like bitter. I'm cleaning up one of the offices and I'm in a bad mood. And then I was like, what am I doing? Why am I mad at this guy? Like, what is my problem? Like, he always does a kind thing for me. And because he didn't do it once, I get mad. So yeah, that's my story of that. But it's just something. It's like a blind spot to be aware of. Is like, do not take people's kindness for granted. If you keep getting a steady flow of love, a steady flow of kindness, a steady flow of good deeds, like your partner is always doing nice things for you, that is the greatest gift. Like it is the greatest gift. It is so strange that society does not reward this. That society looks for novelty, and we look for novelty. We're like, oh, he always does this nice thing for me. She always does this nice thing for me. Who cares? I'm going to look for something different. It's like, and I've been told this as like people, I've been given advice like men advice, like builders, on the builder's yard, like most of them just say stupid things anyway. Growing up, I realize that now. But they'd say that is like, you don't want to always be nice. You don't want to always like my example with the coffee is like, you don't want to always make a breakfast because if you always make a breakfast, then it's not special when you do make it. But if you make a breakfast once a year, she's going to think you're the nicest guy in the world. I was like, I hate that that's a thing. So if you're fortunate to have that person in your life that is steady, that is always doing that nice thing, appreciate that. They thought I'm going to do this every single day. My love, my kindness is going to be consistent. It's so profound. So do not throw that away. Do not waste that. Like I did with my boss. Hey, I only did it for a moment though with my boss. And then I realized my errors. And he truly is a really great man. He really is. He helped me leave his workplace. Like he was like advising me on like getting a better job, which is like unheard of. He was like, "Oh, you're really great. You're really great at your job." Maybe you know what? Think back at it. Maybe I wasn't good at the job. He was like, "I need to get rid of him." No, I always like that's another thing is like everything I ever did, I took pride in it. I always tried to be the best at it. I always tried to enjoy it. Like, and that job is a prime example. I love that job. I love, like, I got my process of like, when I get to this property, this is how I'm going to clean it to the best of my ability. Because ultimately, it's like a cleaning job changes lives. As much as you don't think it, a cleaning job changes lives. Some people cannot, like, some people have disabilities. Some people don't have the time to look after themselves, and you can develop shame. You can develop a low opinion of yourself when your house is messy, when your environment's messy. You can develop these things, and a cleaner comes along, cleans up your house. Suddenly, you've got an environment that's refreshing, makes you feel good about yourself. So yeah, don't disregard any job. You don't understand the power and effect you have on people. So I just accidentally scrolled all the way to, and like, this is an example of like temperance, right? And how it can feel like a weakness. I've been in situations where people have insulted me, situations where people have done me wrong, people have been rude to me, um, or I thought they were, and I wanted to get angry. I wanted to fight back. I wanted to prove my innocence. I wanted to prove them wrong. And I'm a bit of an overthinker, so like I develop all these, like, these arguments and these points and like all this evidence why I'm right and they're stupid and I'm the best. Um, and I developed them all in my head. This has been in the past, and I held my tongue. I thought, you know what, the right thing is to not get mad, is not to be like your enemy. And then a few days later, I reached conclusions. Number one, the best thing I ever did was hold my tongue, because the argument is dissipated. There's no conflict. Um, and it didn't need to be conflict. It was such a stupid thing to get mad about. I was just mad in the moment and wanted to feed my ego. But number two, and takes a bit of honesty here, is I realized I was wrong. So all that arguing, all those points of why they're an idiot, actually would have made the thing a whole lot worse. So I realized I was wrong, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad I held my tongue. So that's what temperance does for us. Question. If you can answer this, anyone who answers this, which one takes more strength, losing your temper or controlling it? Can you answer that? Which takes more strength, losing your temper or controlling it? Because society will say that the angry guy is the stronger guy, that the one sitting there not shouting is probably the weak one. But which one actually takes more strength? I think that controlling your anger takes so much more strength. Yeah, exactly. You guys know it. 100%, 100%. Controlling your anger takes strength. And that's why I'm saying it's just a little hint. This is what I like about Epictetus. He keeps giving little hints as to why he's right. Yeah, being soft. I could talk about this whole being soft thing for so long. Being soft is like the ultimate strength. It's like Muhammad Ali talks about this as like not needing protection, not needing to be aggressive, not needing to puff his chest and prove himself to anyone, because he wasn't scared. He was truly strong. He didn't fear anyone. It's like anyone that puts on like a hardened exterior and tries to intimidate people and tries to puff their chest is like, they have fear in themselves. They don't want to expose their inner weakness. They're bluebird, as Charles Bukowski so beautifully puts it. And it's one of my favorite analogies is the bluebird. Being soft can be, well, very painful. But I think that's what life's all about, is experience. And like, unfortunately, it's like you can't have experience without pain. It's like these receptors do not turn off. They can't be open for just pleasure and joy. They have to be open for everything. It's just part of the human experience. And now I kind of welcome just every single thing. Because most people can react. You just talk about being reactive. Most people can react, but few people can govern themselves. So what did the Stoics actually believe? The Stoics believed that virtue was the highest good. Not money, not fame, not status, not power, none of this. That virtue was the only good. It was the highest good. The telos of Stoicism, which is the end goal of Stoicism, was to live in accordance with nature. And although this is a very rich term and there's a lot to it, ultimately this means, because human nature is to follow virtue, it is to use reason perfectly in alignment with society, because humans are social creatures and we have reason. So if we use our reason perfectly to benefit society and to benefit ourselves, it means to follow virtue. And virtue, well, just a little correction. The Stoics understood, they call it the dichotomy of control, what is within our power, what is not. Epictetus says, within our power are our opinion, motivation, desire, and aversion, in a word, whatever is of our own doing, right? Not within our power are health, wealth, reputation, office, in a word, whatever is not of our own doing. What is in our power is our inner world, how we respond to the external world. We do not control the external, we only control the internal. So, that being said, only that which we control can be good or bad. Everything else is indifferent. So we control our character, which can be in alignment with virtue or vice. So vice is bad, virtue is good. That is it. Everything else is indifferent. Money is not good. It can be used for good, it can be used for bad. There can be evil billionaires doing horrible things with their money. Health, you might go, that's good. Well, health can be used for bad. An evil dictator with great health will be pretty bad for the masses. So only that which you control can be considered good or bad. So everything else is indifferent. And that's something very powerful to remember. I'll try to get back to some of these questions because I'll try to get back to that. If you're kind and someone took advantage of you, then you show them your back. Isn't this justice? I'll think about that whilst I go through the lesson. So I'll read some quotes from Marcus Aurelius from his Meditations about this. The hardest part about reading my book is it falls apart in my hand, and I need to glue it back together. I've done it a few times, glued it back together, but I'm not the best at this. So, book 10:16. No more roundabout discussion of what makes a good man. Be man. Be be one. I sound like a caveman there. No more roundabout discussion of what makes a good man. Be one. Marcus Aurelius in the Gregory Hayes translation says, don't talk about what a good man is. Be one. And that's the point. And another quote from Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations would be book 7:2. Book 7:2. Your principles are living things. How else would they be deadened, except by the extinction of the corresponding mental images? And the constant rekindling of these is up to you. I am able to form the judgment I should about this event. If able, why troubled? All that lies outside of my mind is nothing to it. Learn this and you can stand upright. You can live once more. Look at things again as you used to look at them, and this is the resumption of life. And then, that's all of them for now. I'll be getting to another one, which would be book 6:6, but I will get to that later on. It takes so much more effort to be good. Do you think one can be truly kind without experiencing degrees of darkness? No, that's the thing. I was saying earlier about Shu Hengye. He taught me at the Shaolin Temple in Europe. He said, Buddha heart, demon hand, Buddha heart. It's like you need this. It's the warrior in the garden, not a gardener at war. It's like you need to dig your roots. For the tree to grow to heaven, it must dig its roots down to hell. You need to have an understanding of wickedness, of evil. You need to have an understanding of bad. You have to have that within you. You have to understand this, because there's a lot of people that say, like, oh, I'm a good person. I never scratched. It's like you don't even have claws. It's like you're not good. You're subservient to life. You've been pressured down to life. You're a people pleaser. This was me. I'm not criticizing anyone. This was me for so long. I thought I was good because I never hurt people. I was never bitter. I never did bad things. But I wasn't. I was just pro people pleaser. I was the best. I was the best people pleaser you'd ever met. I'm still thinking of your question, Eleanor. I'm just thinking about that. But I have no good answer for you right now, so I'll keep talking. Because the strongest person isn't the one that can control others. It is the one that can control themselves. So the hardest thing to do, Marcus Aurelius writes in book 6:6 of his Meditations, which I won't find, but I know it off the top of my head, is the best revenge is to not be like your enemy. It's the boiler. Um, so, people will insult you, people will betray you, people will criticize you, people will misunderstand you. The natural instinct, the knee-jerk reaction is to reflect that back. So if someone criticizes you, you want to criticize them back. This is what the ego craves. It demands that the scales are balanced. So if someone insults you, you want to insult them back. If someone betrays you, you want your revenge, you want retribution. That is what the ego demands. The ego is not a bad thing, by the way. The ego has been there for your survival. It is built for your survival. It has built a cage for you to stay safe in, based off of past hurt and past experiences and past traumas. But like I always say, although this cage will keep you safe, a lion in a cage is safe, but a lion does not exist. It does not live to exist in a cage. It exists to run out there. So I was talking, I think Eleanor said about being soft can be painful. It's like, yeah, outside of that cage will be painful. You'll face challenges, you'll face fears, you'll face dangers. But nothing will be more painful than staying in that cage, than betraying your nature. Yeah, you need to know your dark side. You need to understand your dark side, because if you say you don't have a dark side, you're lying. We all have a dark side. We've all seen the darkness of life. We've all seen the wickedness and the evil and the cruelty around us. We'd be ignorant to say we've never seen that. It's a part of nature. Suffering is part of nature. The Buddhists speak about this all the time. The Stoics talk about this all the time. So to ignore this part of human nature is ignorance. And it is ignorance of a part of you that exists. But the other part that exists is the reasoning mind. Your power to choose how to be in any given set of circumstances, no matter what. Viktor Frankl talks about this when he wrote about his experience at the Nazi concentration camps. He was a prisoner there, and he talks about this. Everything can be taken from man except one thing, the last of the human freedoms, the ability to choose one's own way in any given set of circumstances. And he's talking about the worst atrocities that humans have, the worst human atrocities ever. And he talks that the book is just fascinating. It will change your life. I really recommend it. Man's Search for Meaning. Yes, shadow work is. I recommend. I wish I do want to talk more about Jung and shadow work and that kind of thing. And that's my goal with these live streams. Is I will talk about Stoicism, but I'll add a bit of stuff in there as I go along. Things that have helped me, and hopefully they'll help you. But he talks about his experience at Nazi concentration camps, and he says, those people that were starving on the brink of death, starving, and they would offer up their food to someone else. People that have gone through these horrors, and at night they would secretly put on comedy shows, comedy acts to lift the spirits of others, knowing that if they got caught, they would be killed. I seen a book recently, actually, it was a beautiful book with illustrations in it that they'd drawn, that some prisoners had drawn and made. And like, basically the point is like, even in the worst horrors that humans have to offer, Viktor Frankl says that we still have this power to choose how to be in any given set of circumstance. So no matter what life's thrown at you, like, it might knock you down, it might hurt you, it might cause suffering, but it can't make you be bad. Only you can do that. Okay, yeah. Where are we? Because yeah, the natural knee-jerk reaction is to fight back. It's to prove you're right. It's to tip the scales. That's what the ego wants. It doesn't like being on this uneven kilter. It wants to be balanced, or it wants to be at a higher ground, really, because at a higher ground you're safe, which is actually, I suppose, the point of the ego, is to keep you safe. So it either get you at higher ground, or it will build a shield around you. So you'll either run from the world and hide away and build a defense and become ignorant of all these pains and sufferings, or it'll become a monster to fight back. It's literally, now I think about it, it's like human nature. Not human nature, it's the laws of nature. Some animals are given claws to fight back. Some are given shells to keep themselves safe. Some are given camouflage to keep themselves safe. Humans develop these systems within our brain, our psyche, to keep our brain safe. So we can either develop claws to fight back, or we develop a shield to keep us safe. Or we can understand that while these tools may be useful at times, they do not define our life. That we do not always have to react to the world with harshness or with resentment or with avoidance. That we can choose how we want to be in any given set of circumstances. So, the forgotten Stoic virtue. Now, Stoicism in recent years has become very popular thanks to this wonderful man here. Well, it's not just thanks to him, it's to a lot of modern writers, actually, like Massimo Pigliucci, William B. Irvine, Donald Robertson, who is my ultimate favorite, Ryan Holiday, who else? Nicholas. I forgot your last name. Brittany Polat. She's got some wonderful books on Stoicism. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting people's names. I feel like I owe it to a lot of these. I feel like I do owe it to a lot of these writers because they've helped me personally in life. They've worked with me and they've given me some great advice. Jonas Salzgeber. That's all I've got off the top of my head. I can't see any. Not all my Stoic books are there, unfortunately. But anyway, the point is, a lot of these modern writers have made Stoicism popular as well. But with this rise of Stoicism, it created a culture of Stoics, which is now dubbed Broicism, which I think is the stupidest name, but here we are, Broicism, right? Has anyone actually heard that term, Broicism or Broic? But anyway, what this means is we put a high importance on the virtues of Stoicism, but it focused on discipline, resilience, mental toughness. And this is why Stoicism became so popular, because as anxieties and conflicts grew in the real world, people wanted a defense against this. So they started reading quotes about mental resilience, about discipline, and they start seeing people like David Goggins, and they're like, this is how I fight the modern world. This is how I defend myself. This is how I become a real man. And that's what Stoicism kind of became, as like being a real man. But they forgot about the crowning virtue that many of the Stoics say was the most important virtue, which without this virtue, Stoicism was pointless. And what was it? Does anyone know? If you can guess in the comments, if you have the answer, comment. I would like to know if you know what the crowning virtue was. I'll give you a few seconds to answer that. 5, 4. Okay, I'm not going to count down because it feels like being back at school. And I said I'll never do that. Okay, so no one has the answer, right? Or you're just busy doing things, which I do say, as I say I don't want to distract from your life. This live stream is just supposed to be an addition to your life. So whether you're washing up, whether you're cleaning, whether you're cooking, whether you're working out, just put this live stream on. I'll be here every single week, and soon I'll be here 3 times a week, and then 4 times a week, and then I'll be one of those full-time live streamers just talking to a camera. But one thing I love is, like, I was always talking to a camera on these videos, but now I'm actually talking to people that can hear me. Yes, Eleanor, what was the crowning virtue? You've got them, but what was the crowning one? Yeah. Okay. The crowning virtue, I'm going to get to it because I want to get back to lesson. The crowning virtue was justice. And this is what everyone forgot when they start following Stoicism, when they start teaching Stoicism. And when you hear these AI videos online talking about justice, is like they're talking about Stoicism, sorry, they miss out justice. So they're like, all these videos are like, don't care about anyone, get your head down. DGAF. DGAF is an acronym. Anagram. I can't remember. It's been a long day. It's an abbreviation. Someone tell me what that word's supposed to be. DGAF. Don't give a F. Right? So all these videos and stuff are teaching about discipline and mental fortitude and resilience and being a man. And I know there's women listening, and I don't like to use that term because I think it's stupid. But that's what Stoicism became, around being a man. And by being a man, I mean this uh, this false masculine vision that society has created, that a man should not care, that a man should do what he wants and just be tough and not DGAF. And I'll stop using that because it sounds stupid. But they forgot the crowning virtue, which it was justice. Yeah, kindness. Justice is a very broad term, which means being kind, being good, helping people. There's a lot more to it. This is a modern, simplified translation of justice. I can't remember. Sophia. How have I forgot the terms? I've embarrassed myself here. I forgot. I even wrote about this. But anyway, I know it's Sophia's wisdom. So if you know anyone called Sophia, they're probably very wise. Yeah, the Stoics constantly talk about justice. They constantly talk about community. They talk about helping others. You know, something interesting. I wrote this many years ago on book 1, the first page of the Meditations, right? Here. Because that's another thing as well. I drew this, and it is the front cover of my book, my American book, and my Dutch book. You'll see this. It looks a lot prettier on the American book and the Dutch cover, but that is the circles of Hierocles, right? The circles of concern. In the center, these circles in the center is self, then family, then local community, then country, then humanity. And the idea was to bring these circles in. So the level of concern you show to yourself, you start bringing it to your family, to society, to country, to humanity, right? And this just shows it was a very important concept in Stoicism, this sympatheia, this topic of sympatheia, which is a Latin word. But it was very important that we must be good for others. I'm just going to read some random notes I wrote here because I was going to describe them, but I don't know if they're going to make sense because I wrote them a long time ago. Described by Cicero's Laelius, gaining friends who reciprocate your affection is second in importance to being wise and good. It is the most valuable indifference. So seek wise and good friends / mentors. In Zeno's Ideal Republic, Zeno is the founder of Stoicism, Zeno of Citium. He founded Stoicism in 300 BC when he was, sorry, I'm itching my back. When he was shipwrecked, he was a wealthy merchant, and he was hauling this cargo, which was the corpses of Murex sea snails. So what they'll do with these corpses is grind them up and turn them into red dye. Red dye was very expensive back then, so he was literally he was rich. He was rich. His cargo was full of Bitcoin for you modern people. He had lots of Bitcoin, or I don't know, V-Bucks, or I don't know what's expensive these days. Gold would have been the best one to say. So he's hauling gold across the seas. The Aegean. Oh my gosh, I forgot everything today. The Aegean Sea. And he's shipwrecked, loses everything, almost dies, washes ashore in Athens, I believe, and he's left with nothing. He goes to visit the oracle. And the oracle says, do not dye your lives with the carcasses of dead sea snails. Dye them with the thoughts of dead men. So he was like, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does she mean by this? Very wise, the oracle was. So he goes to a bookstore and he starts reading books, and he reads Xenophon's Memorabilia of Diogenes. Diogenes, I think. As the story goes, and he says to the bookshop owner, he goes, where do I find men like this? And as he's saying this, he points to a man outside, Crates, the cynic, and says, that is a man like Diogenes. So anyway, Zeno studies under Crates for a while. Crates teaches him cynicism. Now, cynicism isn't what you think it is. It's not being cynical. It is loosely linked to that. It's very similar to Stoicism, except they were a bit more different. Like Diogenes walked around naked and he would act like a dog. People would call him a dog. People literally called him a dog, so he would pee on them and say, if you're going to call me a dog, I'm going to act like a dog. And he did worse things than that. But anyway, so he learned from the Cynics, and then he decided to start his own school of thought. So he'd go out to the Stoa Poikile, which is the painted colonnades in Athens. It's like those big pillars. And he would teach there. It was like a public space. He would teach there. And he would start teaching people about virtue, loosely linked to Aristotelian ethics and to cynicism, and to what he learned from Crates. But he changed it a bit. He adapted it a bit. He wanted it to be more in line with society, because the Cynics were kind of against society and societal norms. So he starts teaching these people for free, and they start calling it Zenonianism, right? And then they're like, I don't want this school of thought to be so linked to one person, so we'll change the name. Stoicism, after the Stoa Poikile, where they taught it. Wonderful name. And anyway, so Zeno, long story short, in his ideal, he wrote an ideal republic, just like Plato's Republic, he wrote one. Zeno's ideal republic is full of sages who lived in friendship. In Seneca's letters, even the Stoic sage wants friends, although content and self-sufficient without. The Stoic attitude is that of benevolence. It is likely that Aurelius viewed all as a brother or sister, or even as an extension of himself. That's what a lot of the language in his book refers to. The soul, Marcus Aurelius even wrote this, the soul of a man harms itself when it turns away from another human being. Marcus Aurelius says that when you do this, when you turn away from humanity, you become like a tumor on the world. So that's a short way of saying that the Stoics valued community, they valued humanity, they valued society. Like what Marcus Aurelius said, what is good for the hive is good for the bee. They really valued this. Justice was the crowning virtue. They felt like without that, everything else was pointless. What's the point of courage? What's the point of temperance? What's the point of moderation and wisdom if you're going to be selfish, if you're not going to use it to make others better, to make the world a better place? What's the point in this? Because helping others is the greatest strength. So I was learning all this, and I was learning Stoicism. And if I was to be honest with you guys and girls, I'll be honest here, is I was learning the wrong kind of Stoicism. I was one of those guys that was like, I'm going to be disciplined. I'm not going to care. Because to be honest, I was in so much pain and sadness. I thought, I just want to not care. I want to be tough. I want to be a strong man. But then I started reading Marcus Aurelius, start reading Epictetus, Seneca, Musonius Rufus, and all these kind of Musonius Rufus, and something changed. I understood justice. I understood what it means to be a good person, and then I started reflecting on my life. So my life changed when I did an exercise, actually, which the Stoics did, but they learned from Pythagoras. And yeah, it's the same Pythagoras you're thinking of. Like, it blows my mind. This guy was a genius. This guy was a genius. What do they call it? A polymath. He was a genius. I thought he was like just this mathematician, just this smart guy, but he literally did so many things. Like a remarkable mind. One of the most remarkable men that history has ever wrote down. Made note of, I suppose. I know there's loads of remarkable people that never got their names in the history books, and there's loads of remarkable women that never got any credit. But Pythagoras, he got his credit, and he was given his flowers, and he was also a great mind. So anyway, this practice, it's like this self-reflection. At the end of every day, the Stoics started doing it, is where you reflect on how you was throughout the day. And someone last week asked for homework, and I joked that I would never give. I joked that I would never give homework because I was so against homework. But if you're asking for homework, then maybe you should try this exercise that the Stoics learned from Pythagoras, right? It's called reviewing your day. So here's what I'd do. I'd get to the end of the day, I'd be laying in bed, and I'll start to think about the things that I did. I think, did I live in accordance with the Stoic principles? Did I live in accordance with virtue? And I'd think, and I'd be like, oh, well, I was rude to that person. And then my ego will come along. Oh, he was only rude because they were rude. He was every right. He was right to be rude. And then I'd shut my ego up for a second. I'd be like, no, I was rude. I shouldn't have been rude. I shouldn't have done that. I should have paused and acted with wisdom, with temperance, with kindness. I should that would have been the right thing to do. So make note of that. And then I'm like, did I was I present throughout the day? Did I waste time? And I was like, well, no, I didn't. I didn't. My ego would tell me, no, I didn't. And I was like, no, you did. You did. You don't have to lie. I say this. This is like a big thing I want to drill into people's heads. I don't want to drill it into anyone's heads. I know you're all very wise and you have a similar understanding like me. But I'm just going to say it anyway. Is lie all you want. I personally think lying is wrong. I try not to lie. I try my best not to lie, and it's something I aim towards. I never want to lie. I think truth is golden. Lie all you want to people, if that's what you're going to do. I'm not going to lecture on that, but do not lie to yourself. I will lecture you on that. Never lie to yourself. Never ever. If you're lying to yourself, I wish I could come through your screen and tell you off, because lying to yourself is just immoral and it's actually ridiculous. I would even say it's stupid. I'm not going to say you're stupid because I do it. I still do it, even though I know I'm aware of it. It still happens because your ego wants to soften the pain. If you've made a mistake, if you've done wrong, if you're in the wrong, if you're the bad person, your ego wants to soften this. So it'll find an excuse for your behavior. But just don't lie to yourself. When you go to bed at night, that is your chance to be scrupulously honest, to be so meticulous in your honesty. Be honest with yourself. It will be the greatest thing you ever done. Your life will change. If you're doing bad things every single day, you're working on bad habits every single day. The reason you stay in that most of the times, obviously there is addictions and habits you develop. I understand that human behaviors are very complex, but if you are lying to yourself every single day, you do not become aware of these things. The day you become honest and you go, I'm criticizing people for that, but I'm doing it myself. Maybe I should address this. That's when your life truly changes. Yes, Eleanor. Yeah, I read a quote today. And I screenshotted it. Where did I screenshot it? I love it. This guy, he keeps popping up. He's called the Flaming Sea. And he's in a Pikachu costume. He's in a Pikachu costume playing Fortnite. But he said this quote. The picture's ridiculous. You may not get caught. Sorry, I'm speaking too fast. I apologize. I'm supposed to slow down when I speak to others so they can hear me better. You may not get caught for everything you do, but you will pay for everything you have done. Everything that is done in the dark will be brought to the light. Everything. I can promise you this. So, like you're saying, Eleanor, you're with yourself. You cannot escape your lies, but we do lie to ourselves. And that the lies that we sow inside ourselves, the seeds will sprout and they spread into our lives. I talk about this like the darkness you keep to yourself will spread out. What is done in the dark will be brought to the light. But the same is true for light. When you keep that light to yourself, when you keep it within yourself, when you do good in private, when you're moral in private, when you appreciate the moment, you're grateful for the moment, you do it all in private, it will seep out of you and you'll be a ray of light. You'll be a beacon of hope. Sofia is a capital. Sofia? What country? Sofia. Sofia's wisdom is the capital city of my country. What would the answer to that be? I'm not the best with geography. There's always good and bad days. Nobody's perfect. Perfection doesn't exactly. Yeah, facing reality is painful, but it is so good. You need to face the storm head on. You have to. Lying to yourself does no good for you. Like it might make you feel a little bit better, a little less guilty in the moment. But the greatest thing you'll ever do for yourself is you start telling the truth to yourself. Never lie to yourself. So, if you wanted homework last week, someone asked for homework. There's your homework. Start reviewing your day and just be scrupulously honest with yourself in every moment. So that's it. Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's a Balkan country. I just want to Google it because I don't want to get it wrong in front of everyone. Ah, there's me being sensitive. I don't want to be wrong with my geography with people watching. Because the first thing that came to mind was Bulgaria, but that was wrong. But I don't know the capital of Bulgaria. I'm pretty sure I do know. Brilliant. Ah, got it right. I feel amazing. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I already had the answer. Maybe it's because I don't know. Okay, that's actually the lesson over. I've just got some insight at the bottom. Let's see. So for years, I've thought my sensitivity was a weakness. These are just notes. The lesson's kind of over, but there's some notes I've written about. For years, I thought my sensitivity was a weakness. I thought caring too much was a weakness. I thought feeling deeply was a weakness. But many of these things I was trying to get rid of became the things that helped me connect with people. Okay, so this is a thing, right? I can remove these notes now and just talk with you directly. I felt like my sensitivity was a weakness, that me being kind was a weakness. I felt like it was my greatest weakness, like it was my shame or my burden to carry because I couldn't do anything otherwise. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit more into this lesson about people pleasing because someone was asking about this. But I thought it was a weakness, this sensitivity, and it used to keep me up at night. In fact, I used to cry most nights and I was in so much pain. And I remember someone was asking me to describe my problem. I was talking to a therapist. It was a therapist. She was asking me about this, like, well, describe it. What does it feel like? What emotions, what feelings, what does life feel like? And I couldn't think of anything except pain. Life felt painful. It felt difficult. Just that's all it felt like. It was way too hard. And I didn't want to be a part of it. I wanted to just like I just wanted the pain to be gone. Like, why was my life so difficult? And I didn't know how to get rid of it. And I was too sensitive. Like, I was always struggling about my own problems, other people's problems. The empathy seeped in and ruined my life. I was worrying about people in other parts of the world, in China, in Japan, in Nigeria, and bloody like everywhere, literally everywhere. I'd see news stories and I'd be in so much pain thinking about these people. It would keep me up at night. It would make me cry. And people told me I'm too sensitive. People told me I was weak. And I tried to drill that out of me. I tried to get rid of that. And I remember one day I felt like all my greatest blessings came from that weakness, the fact that I was sensitive. Like everything good in my life, not everything good, sorry, but like all the things I was proud of, all the things I truly treasured came from me being sensitive. And I realized that is my greatest gift. My sensitivity was my greatest gift. And now I like double down on it. I'm so proud of how sensitive I am because I see it as a strength that if I can feel all this and turn it into something beautiful, Epictetus talks about this, and I've been writing about this a lot, is the wand of Hermes. The wand of Hermes, anything that the wand of Hermes touched turned to gold. And the Stoics believe that we could do this. Anything we touch, we can turn to gold. And I truly feel this now, that any pain can be turned to gold. Any confusion can be turned to gold because pain is turned to strength. Challenges are turned into courage. Fear is turned to courage. Confusion is turned into wisdom. Difficult people are turned into compassion, turned to love. And now I see the sensitivity as like the greatest gift. I see myself as a receiver of the experience of life. The more I can experience, give me pain, give me it all. I remember that quote. It's like, I don't want peace. I want problems always. It's like, give me some of that. Give me those problems. Give me that pain. Give me those difficulties. Give me the confusion. Give me it all because I will turn it to gold. I will be like, I will take that burden because the more I can be given from life, the more beauty I can turn it into, the more understanding I can have of other people. I do see myself as I always say, like, there's nothing special about me. Okay, that's a new thing I've adopted, actually. There's nothing special about me except I'm sensitive. I truly believe like that's one of my gifts I've been given in this life is like I'm sensitive, which I hated for many years. But like I say, there's nothing special about me. These teachings I'm teaching aren't mine. They're just ancient Stoics. They were written 2,000 years ago by greater minds than me. But what I can do is I can convey this to other people. I can teach other people these same things that I learned that changed my life, that saved my life, and have saved the lives of millions. So the more sensitive I can be, the more open I can be to pain, to understanding other people's pain, to compassion of the problems of the world, the more I can connect with people, and that's ultimately what I want to. I've been talking too much. I'm starting to mumble a lot. That's ultimately what I want to do, is to connect with people so I can get these teachings to really touch their soul like they've touched mine, and I know they've touched a lot of your souls. So yeah, right. I'm going to get onto this people please. Then it's an additional part to the lesson, but I do want to say is it is so good. Like it's really heartwarming to have the same people in here connecting and interacting with the live stream. And then also like I see some of you on Instagram sending me messages, interacting with the content on Instagram. It's really great because it is proven to me, like Tolkien said, there is some good in this world and it's worth fighting for. If we can start to build this community, because I do think like I'm not liking I'm not liking the modern way things are, that like it's rewarding bad behavior. You go on social media, it's filled with hate. It's people perpetuating hate. They use hate to get views, to get money. They create division to get views, to get money. They say controversial things to get views, to get money. And it is just creating an echo chamber of hate where people pick one or the other side. And I really hate it. I hate that this is what the world is rewarding. But I do know there's some good in this world and it's worth fighting for. I hate that like it just breaks my heart. Like I'll open a post now of someone that looks different, or someone with a disability, or someone with a speech impediment, or someone with a disfigurement. And I go to it and it's a really nice thing, someone talking about their child that has a learning difficulty. And you go to the comments and it's just filled with like people mocking a child with learning difficulties, or people mocking a veteran with facial disfigurements, or people mocking a woman that is got like, like a body has been broken due to childbirth or due to an accident, and that she's learning to walk again. These are like actual examples I've seen. And you go to the comments and people are just mocking them. Thousands of people with tens of thousands of likes are mocking these people. And I hate that that's the thing. I really hate that that's the thing. I think it's disgusting. I think it's like something we need to rid this world of. And I believe, you don't know if it's bots as well. That's the craziest thing. But whatever it is, behind it is someone making money from keeping you on a platform, making money from selling you ads, making money from rage baiting you and getting engagement on their platform. But then at the lower level is people arguing with bots. Then there's bots that are driving a narrative to create division and to create hate. I just hate all of it. But what's the solution to this? What did the hobbits do? They fought for that good because they knew that there's good in this world and it's worth fighting for. And we are the hobbits. And like you might think all the evils of the world impossible. And this is the whole point of Lord of the Rings. Is like you might think you can never overcome the evil. You might think it. But some little hobbits did it. Not on their own, mind, but Sam and Frodo did it with the help of Gollum. Good old Gollum. Because if Gollum didn't bite his finger, the ring wouldn't have been destroyed. But the point is like, as little folk can change the world. But they needed the fellowship. If some of you don't like Lord of the Rings, I hate to burden you with all my Lord of the Rings analogies, because every week I'm talking Lord of the Rings. But you are the fellowship. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to destroy Sauron. Sauron is the embodiment of evil. And I believe like there is evil in this world, and you can see it when you go on social media. But I do believe if, the fellowship wasn't that big. I mean, they did have an army to help them eventually, but Yeah, it is the greatest story ever written, and we are the hobbits. We're developing a fellowship. We're at the point. We've just left the Shire, guys and girls. We've just left the Shire. But the point is, before I get onto the topic of people pleasing, is this community we're building, the community here in the chat and on Instagram, is like with a fellowship where we may not be these mighty warriors. Some of them are actually, but together we can work together and we can change things. We can change the narrative of social media. We can change the narrative of the bad we see in this world. Like the bin man giving me that book, he changed my life. You know, even if there's like 10 of us here, like 10 good people can change 1,000 lives. You yourself, and this is what I hate that people deny this. A little good for this world is a lot of good for this world. I always say it. And people disregard it, so they don't do any good. Your little act of God will change the world. Yeah. Yeah, Sam is just that's such an odd thing to worry about. I've never even thought about. They've got hardy feet. They've got hobbit's feet. Um, yeah, so I'll stick to the analogy of Lord of the Rings because it seems to be working. But it's like that bin man doing a little good, giving me that book, changed my life. And you know, I've done things because of him. So like, I'm not trying to take pride in good that I've done because that would be ridiculous. But my book helped a lot of people. It helps a lot of people. I've had a lot of nice messages from it. People saying it's helped them. Um, I think I write about it in the book actually about that bin man. It's like one of the main reasons I wrote that book was because of the bin man, the act of kindness he did. It's a ripple effect. And I keep saying this as well. We're not just hobbits, we're stones. We're little stones, we're little pebbles. Because I remember the Monkey King, he's trying to mock the little girl, saying, like, you're just a little pebble. That's all you are, this little pebble. You're insignificant in the world. His hand, I think he's like got the stone like this. And she takes the pebble and throws it into the lake and watches the ripples go across that lake. Sam would not dog the Monkey King, I'm sorry to say. The Monkey King's one of the most powerful beings in any piece of literature or any mythology. I'm sorry to say. I love Sam, but you're wrong. But the point is like, you think you're a little pebble, you can ripple across miles of a lake. And then we're talking about this fellowship going on right now. We're loads of little pebbles. We can cause a storm. But the point is like, you change the narrative of someone. People say, like, oh, everyone's horrible, everyone's hateful. You go on social media and you leave a nice comment. They read that nice comment and they're like, oh, not everyone is hateful. Not everyone is. Sorry, I'm just reading these comments about Lord of the Rings. We don't know why Frodo's sat in a tree. Jonas West, but I haven't read it yet. Sam is the king. Right. Anyway, I'm going to finish this whole teaching because I need to get back to the topic of people pleasing from my personal experience, because I believe Eleanor or Matthew, one of you said about like kindness, being kind and being taken advantage of and that kind of thing. It's like, where do you draw the line? What do you do? So I'll talk from my personal experience. I grew up hyper vigilant. I was the expert people pleaser. But there's a blind spot because I didn't know I was doing it. Why? Because my ego developed this defense mechanism based off of childhood. It kept me safe. That people pleasing kept me safe. So I became really good at people pleasing. And it was hard to see this. So I thought I was a good person. And when bad things started happening in life, I was like, literally, this is me, because I was quite a pathetic child. I was like, why me? I'm good. Why do bad things happen to me? I'm a good person. Life doesn't discriminate. Suffering happens to us all. And I needed that suffering. I needed to learn that life has suffering in it. There's light and dark. There's the Buddha hand, there's the demon heart. Demon hand, Buddha heart, sorry, shall I say. Got it the wrong way around. But so as an expert people pleaser, like my life revolved around people pleasing. I'd enter a situation, meet new people, meet new friends, meet a new group, and I'd figure out how I can fit in safely. not stand out, not be offensive, to safely fit in, because my life revolved around people liking me. If someone didn't like me, something was wrong. Like my world was shaken up and I had to resolve it. So I was proud that everyone liked me. It was like my proudest achievement. I was like, there was only this one woman that didn't like me. She was talking behind my back. And someone told me, it's like, she doesn't like you. And I was like, why? And why doesn't she like me? What have I done wrong? Who cares if people like you? You just got to be yourself. Anyway, the point is, right, I thought I was being good. And I was on the inside hating myself and hating people because I allowed people to walk over me. Someone would say, hey, do you want to finish this job for me? And I'd stay an extra 3 hours. My boss would be like, oh, do you want to finish this? I'd stay an extra 3 hours, an extra 4 hours, working to the night. I would miss my gym session. I'd miss my dinner. I'd miss everything. And I was getting paid less than minimum wage, illegally paid. I was coming home with £13 a day, which even back then was nothing. And I was working insane hours. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm good. I'm a nice person. I'll work extra for you. I'll do this. But like on the inside, I was hating them. So what did I do about this? I had to first develop my sense of self, my own moral compass, which was founded on Stoic virtue. I had to develop a foundation based off of virtue. And sometimes that requires courage. It requires courage because you're not just doing good for others. Marcus Aurelius says what is good for the bee is good for the hive. What is good for the hive is good for the bee. You're not just doing good for others. You are a part of that hive. You have to do good for you. If you keep betraying your own self, your own morals, your own moral compass, your own health, and you're destroying your inner psyche by always allowing people to walk all over you, you're not being good. So I had to develop my own sense of self. I had to develop my own courage, my own strength. So I started being selfish, what I considered selfish. I started doing things for me. I started saying no. And would you know it, that no is a complete answer. When you say no to things, you're saying yes to other things. When you say no to others, you're saying yes to yourself. So I learned how to do that. I learned how to say no. I learned my moral compass that would never shake. There's certain things within me that will never bend, no matter what I'm faced with. And hopefully, I haven't got there yet. Epictetus says, even faced with death, these will not bend. But I hope that there's things in me that even faced with death will never bend. So I can now choose. If my boss says to me, hey, Will, he called me Will. My name is William. He called me Will. Because I was called Will at the time. It's a new evolution of the name. So he would say, Will, do you want to stay another 3 hours and finish this job? And I can look at him and go, I actually think you're being unfair. I never said this because I was too weak at the time. I never said this to his face or anything. But I would like to say now, I think you're being unfair. You take advantage of me. You're illegally underpaying me. And while I would like to stay and help this customer out, I don't want to be feeding this narrative that you've built, that you can always take advantage of me, that I will always be here, that you can walk all over me. Because I have a family to get home to. I have my own mental health to adhere to. And that's more important than you, because you're being selfish. You're being a bully. Right. So then anyway, I start to develop my sense of self. I start to really, really think what it means to act off virtue. I start reviewing my day. And when you start reviewing your day, like Pythagoras says, I spoke about Pythagoras earlier, and it is the guy that developed Pythagoras' theorem that we learned in school. And I'm pretty sure. Where are we? I have to read in the chat. Let me finish this point and I'll get to the chat. When I started developing all this and reviewing myself, I started realizing that a lot of my behaviors weren't out of being good. They're actually based out of anxiety. And a good compass to understand whether you're being good and whether you're acting off of virtue is, are you being reactive or are you responding? I realize this is like, if you have a feeling that you should do something because you're anxious, most of the times that's your people-pleasing tendencies pulling you towards it. When you're removed of that, you're calm and you go, do I want to do this thing? Would it be wise of me to do this thing? Is it the right thing to do this thing? If you have no impulse, if you don't feel implored to do the thing, and then you decide to do it, then that is probably good. If it's your decision, it's probably good. If you feel implored to do it based off of societal pressures, then it's probably people-pleasing. Okay, where are we? That's the lesson. Everywhere I lie, there's a great root sticking in my back. Another thing is the problem not being able to say no, and sometimes it is not coming for the willing to please them, but to help them. Um, there's when you, I hate to say this, it sounds rude. It sounds rude. This is from my own personal experience. I say it from my own personal experience, and you can make of it what you will. When I finally developed self-respect, when I finally loved myself, the answer was clear. The questions were answered automatically because I knew how far I wanted to bend for others. It was a clear distinction. If someone asked me to do something in the past, my anxiety implored me to please them, implored me to help them because I felt like I had to. My ego was wrapped up in this image of me, the story of me being the good guy, being the kind guy, the guy that never says no. So I had to do this. So I was implored through anxiety. When I finally started to love myself and respect myself, I make that decision. And the most amazing thing, so if you're in that position where I was, where you felt implored to always help people, implored to say yes to everyone, when I started saying no, started living my life and being selfish, that's when people really started to respect me, when people really started to connect with me. That the people that I thought were taking advantage of me started to love my presence more. Because what I learned is like most people weren't actually taking advantage of me. They felt like this was the agreement. They felt this was the norm. If we go back to my boss that I was talking about, that always got me the Americano from McDonald's every single morning, he got me that Americano from McDonald's every single morning. He was being good. I became used to that. I became entitled to that. Like he should get at me. So the one day he doesn't get at me, I was in a bad mood with him. He didn't do anything wrong. He just stopped doing that good thing for one day. And that's the thing. When you start being yourself and you set your boundaries for others, like I say, boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. Boundary is a door, and you decide who comes in, who comes out. And what the most amazing thing when you put up that door, you'll start to see who knocks at that door, who regularly knocks at that door with that wants to be invited in. That's the people you want in your life. Okay. Need to seek balance. Eleanor, we will get there. We will get there. We're getting there together. This is a journey I've made. There's many other journeys I'm making. It's a journey. You're at a different place in that journey, but there's other journeys you've been on that are far more advanced from me, far more advanced than I am. You're further ahead on them. There's lots of journeys going on at the same time in this great journey called life, and together, that's what I love about this community. Is we will discover it all together. You hold answers that I don't have. Other people hold answers that you don't have, and it's a big community of people that are just learning. How wonderful. It's like the Stoa Poikile. It's the Stoa Poikile of modern age, the YouTube live stream. And in many years, there'll be a philosophy called, I can't think of a name. Every name that came to my mind sounds stupid. Okay. Will's are goated, probably best name ever. Just thinking of Will's mom, William the Conqueror. I assume Will's mom is from, what's the show called? What is the show called? Why has my mind gone blank? The In-Betweeners. Sorry, my mind's gone blank a lot today. William the Conqueror. William's a powerful name, I think. I like the name William. Although every name is great. My ego is on really low level. Maybe I need to work. The ego is on really low level. I just want to say something. So the lesson's over, by the way. I'm just answering questions now and talking. Ego's on really low level. Maybe you need to work on. Maybe I need to work on that. The ego is a trickster. The ego is the trickiest of things. Alan Watts describes it to a thief. Right, a thief's broke into a house. The robbers, it's an infinite level house, and the cops get to the ground floor and they see the thief run up the first floor. So they come, they chase it, it goes to the second floor, and it'll keep going. When you think you catch the ego ascends to the next level. You cannot destroy the ego. You can't kill the ego. Despite what people think, you're not going to kill the ego. The ego will always be there. And if you think like I've killed the ego, That's the ego talking. This is what it is. Especially people get into who get into the spiritual stuff and spirituality. Their ego becomes super tricky because it's masked by this idea of having no ego, of being egoless, of attaining nirvana, of spiritual enlightenment, of satori. The ego is tricky. The ego is really tricky, but it's not something to be destroyed. It is there to protect you. It is a part of you. It loves you. It just doesn't. It's like a bit archaic. It doesn't know how to protect you at times. But it worked. Like my people pleasing tendencies kept me safe. It helped me fit in. It kept me safe. It did many great things in childhood, but I don't need it today. So, yeah, you don't need to destroy your ego. Just become more aware of it. Become more aware of how tricky it becomes. The little things it tells you. I remember reading the Voice of Knowledge, I believe, and it talks about the first lie, the first sin, original sin, which is the lies we tell ourselves, which is the stories. And it basically, the ego is stories. It's the stories you tell yourself that you're weak, that you're stupid, that you need to run away from relationships, that you need to get angry at people when they're mean to you. It's all these stories. It's nice to have you here, Bateman. So what is up is the lesson has come to a close. I'm still talking a little bit of stoicism and answering questions, but the main lesson has come to a close. But I will be live next week, Wednesday, and I will be live soon when I've got the schedule going 3 times minimum a week, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday. And like Matthew suggested, I might do the 5 a.m. ones, maybe on a Monday and Tuesday. We'll see. We'll say this is all new to me, and it's new to you. What we're talking about the ego is what was I saying about the ego? Yeah, it's there to protect you. That's all ultimately. So you have to think about what's trying to protect you. But it's also, like I said, it is a cage that is building around you. And while a lion is safe in a cage, a lion does not live in a cage. You might be safe in this cage. You might be safe from certain things, but you will suffer from the compression of being in the cage. It's like the analogy of the lobster that Rabbi, I can't remember his name, but there was a famous rabbi. He talks about this analogy that the lobster is a crustacean that lives in the shell, right? And its shell, this exoskeleton, doesn't actually expand. So the lobster's a mushy animal inside this hard shell. And if it stays within the hard shell that keeps it safe, it will die. It will get trapped inside it and die as it's trying to grow. It will die. So it has to cast off the shell and then grow, rebuild a new shell. And that's kind of what a healthy balance of the ego will look like, is you become aware of the cage you build, you become aware of how the ego is keeping you stuck and the barriers it's set upon you to keep you safe, and then you can cast it off and new things will develop. And that's what's happening with spiritual people, is they go, oh, kill my ego, I'm ascended, I don't need ego, I just meditate and sit here. That would be the ego talking, keeping you safe from the next thing. We can be free of it sometimes in times of like satori, and maybe there's people, people do speak of this. Peter Crone, I think, talks about this. Eckhart Tolle talks about this as like you can be in a place of satori always. So you would be free of the ego, of the egoic story. So maybe, but I don't need that right now. I love life. I'm loving it. So I don't need it right now. What do I think about the ban of social media and under 16? So I haven't looked into this enough. Initially, I'd say it's the most perfect thing, but I'm seeing a lot of backlash and people actually digging into it, saying what it means. I'm not going to get political with it because I'm not going to share politics too much on here. But just from my personal perspective on what social media does to people, I think it's awful what it can do to people. And I think unrestricted access to social media is destroying people's brains. It puts us into echo chambers. And while it's nice to say, like now I'm saying, like, be aware of that. When I was 16, if I was exposed to the things I'm exposed to now, like the atrocities, the echo chambers, the opinions, the rage baiting, I would be a completely different person. I would have gone so far down one tunnel that you wouldn't even recognize me. So I personally think is like it's a cop out in a way of like we need to actually help these kids. We need to help people. We need to put restrictions on the big social media companies. So I'm getting a little bit political. We need to put the restrictions on the social media companies. We need to hold them accountable for the things that they show our kids. That's where like, while it's good to put a ban on it, like, come on. If you ban me from social media at 16, I'm finding social media. It's not hard. I'd take a picture of someone's passport. I don't know what the restrictions are, but like, you're not stopping me. I'll find ways. Other social medias will pop up that don't have the restrictions. There'll always be a way. So while I think in theory it's an amazing thing, I genuinely think like people need to get off their phones. Really, it's one like nearly all your problems in life at the moment. Most people's problems, if your screen time's 4 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours, if you just get rid of your phone, the anxiety will drop, the stress will drop, the bilateral, not the bilateral, the split thinking, the polar thinking, all of this will be fixed by like a few weeks from your phone, a few months from your phone. So in theory, it sounds good, but I think it's to cop out. It's like we actually need to hold these companies accountable. We need to teach people how to protect their minds, to build the inner citadel, as the Stoics talk about, and that's why we're here building this fellowship. How to build the inner citadel is a brilliant concept, taught by Pierre Hadot on his teachings of Marcus Aurelius, which is a good book to read. Okay. To build better Wednesday wisdom with William. I like the alliteration. Wednesday wisdom with William. Wonderful Wednesday wisdom with William. So Eleanor, to build. Okay, so I might have misanswered your thing. To build better self-respect. If you want to build better self-respect, I learned this is do things that you respect in others. So if you don't respect people that always say yes and just pander to others and people please, then stop doing it. Look for the things you admire in people. So literally one of mine was I had Aragorn. I admired so much stuff about Aragorn. I admired so many stuff and respected so much stuff about Sam, so much stuff about Boromir, so much stuff about Fred Rogers, Muhammad Ali, Steve Irwin. So I had all these things, these people. It's called virtue modeling. I had these people I admired and the traits from them that I admired. I wrote them down and I tried to do it because I respected it in them. And when I started doing what they do, I started to respect myself. I'm really glad you love yourself, though. Yeah. When I answer your questions, just bear in mind I don't know everything about you, so I'm making some assumptions to get a point across. So I never mean to judge you unless you give me information. I never mean to judge you. Nice Hebrew. I appreciate your content. Thank you, Bateman. I'll be live more frequently. We're still in like the beta phase of understanding how this all works. I don't like the idea. I was trying to make a account on something recently. I think it was Reddit. I was trying to make an account because I want to on stoicism and stuff. You got to I want to interact with people, and like also with work, I have to do some research on the military people. So I try and make an account to do some research on the subreddits of military and stuff, and I need to make an account. And anyway, I go to make an account, I need to upload my ID, and I thought that was crazy. And I got like a bit paranoid. I was like, why am I uploading my ID onto Reddit? So I never did it, and I never got to do my research. I had to look for other places, which Reddit's probably not the best place to do my research. Maybe life was teaching me a lesson. Any thoughts on giving the lesson for next week out early? Okay, right. This is on me. That is the greatest thing in theory, right? But I don't know if you was here at the very start of this lesson. I'm coming to a close soon because I actually need to go. But at the start of this, I was just saying, like, I came up with this lesson topic just after as I got home from work. I actually haven't had my dinner yet. Woe is me. I was supposed to cook dinner, but I'd made this lesson at last minute. So it's like, that's just on me being organized, and I need to develop a structure and a system where I can always have them going. So if I have a live stream, say I am doing Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, I will have the live stream set up. You will see there'll be a live stream template schedule. You'll see my schedule. You'll know exactly when I'm live, what time, what I'm talking about. That is the plan. So yeah, that is my plan, but it's part of the process. At the moment, I'm just showing up and trying to increase my efforts towards it. Write lesson plans. I'm trying to think of ways that will work. Like I do my writings anyway, so I might incorporate a little bit of what I write and then take that and decide to talk about that. Anyway, any questions you have before I go? Any questions? And thank you. everyone that's been here that's interacting. Like I said, we're developing this fellowship. I really mean it. Like, I'm loving it. I go on Instagram and I see some of you from here on Instagram, and you're interacting with my stuff and engaging with my content there, and even helping people. I'm seeing some of you like reply to some of the comments. That's what I need. I'm just one guy. I'm just fortunate to like, I've spent my life on social media. That's my job. I run YouTube channels and Instagram pages. Like, this is what I've done for a living, so I understand it. So I have the platform. Some of you don't have the platform, but you have the ideas, you have the thoughts, you have the teachings. So the idea is like, we build this fellowship. I'm calling it the fellowship. I love that idea because we know that there's good in this world, and it's worth fighting for. And together, we can do some great things. But remember, what I always say is, you have to put this into practice. You have to put what we're talking about, what we're teaching, into practice. So like next week, hopefully I might come on earlier, but I'll definitely be live on Wednesday. That is a promise, fate permitting. I will be live on Wednesday. I want to hear about what you've done, how you've took your lessons, these teachings into your life. And if I do decide to put out a schedule, it will be on the YouTube community page. But if anyone's got any questions left, anything they've got to say, quickly say it now and I'll get to you. I'll answer it. If you want to see my stuff on Instagram, just head over to my Instagram. And I really do appreciate you being here. It makes this such a fun experience. Like, I like this, look what we're doing here. And I'm learning from you. I'm growing with you. This journey we're growing through. We're just leaving the Shire together, and we're going to do great things. Just don't ever downplay the power of being good. Hi, was you here for the full stream? If you wasn't, I'm sorry you missed it. It will be available. It will be available on the YouTube channel. But if you did miss it, I'm sorry. I need to get these schedules more regular, and so you know exactly when I'm live. But yeah, never downplay what a little bit of good can do for this world. A little bit of good, a little good for this world is a lot of good for this world, and that's what I want to leave you on. Remember the bin man with me. I'm sure it's happened in your life. Someone's done a little good deed. Your little smile, your little good deed can save a life. Your comment here helping someone out can change a life. Your comment on the Instagram, if someone, like, I get a lot of like really heartfelt comments, a lot of people at a dark place, and they leave a comment. I try to answer everyone. That's my mission, is I try to answer everyone. But sometimes the comment, like in messages, I'll always answer them. But sometimes the comments just get way too much and I miss some of them. And Instagram sometimes decides not to show me them, which is annoying. If you decide to help someone out, you could save a life. You could change a life. Never downplay your power. Never downplay your power. Hope you have a good evening, mate. Enjoy your dinner. And hopefully England do well. Hopefully, hopefully they do. We can hope. I'm confident, actually. Thank you for the welcome back, and thank you for the love. I'm sorry I'm leaving now, just as you've got on live, but the live stream will be available if you want to watch it, and I do appreciate having you here. I will 100% fate permitting, be live this time next week on Wednesday, but there is a chance that I will be live on Thursday and Sunday. It's a great slogan. It's a great slogan. No, it's a good. Anyway. We'll see what I'm going to make for dinner. Thank you all for listening. And remember, act upon these things that we were talking about. Act upon it. Otherwise, it's just massaging your ego and massaging your desire to just learn and avoid. It's a form of avoidance. I did it for many years. Right, I'm going to go now. But thank you for everyone that was joining in.